So there have been a lot of tragedies this year, not just tragedies, but a lot of uncertainty, especially with the coronavirus, not just with our country, but with the entire world. It's hard to say what the future has in store, but there's a lot of panic, anxiety, there's a lot of fear, and for some even a sense of doom. Now, if you know me well, you know I'm not the kind of person to sit here and tell you, we just need to think more positive. Everybody just needs to raise their spirits and focus on good things. In fact, I'm actually one of the more negative of my immediate friends group. So I feel like I'm a good person to deliver this message. You see, if you believe that the future is doomed, I think that you're truly doing yourself a disservice. And if you believe that the future is doomed, but you're open to the possibility that you may be wrong and that maybe we do have some things to look forward to, then I want you to watch the rest of this video because I'm going to make an argument for that. I actually think this chart is really cool, and it's probably my favorite chart. It's of the internet and of the entire world who has had access to the internet. So if you look 20 years ago, only 6% of the entire population had access to the internet. Then you fast forward to 2010, and even though the internet was coming along pretty well, still only 23% of the world's population had access to all of that information. But finally, just recently, 2/3 of the world's population has had access to the internet. I can't imagine how cool it's going to be when everyone can get access to basically unlimited information. In America now, we've actually changed the definition of poverty because the baseline of what we would expect someone to have just as an individual living has been raised. You know, everyone has access to air conditioning, a car, not everyone, but the majority of people can get a cell phone. Most people have a house, indoor plumbing, a toilet, a refrigerator, even other forms of transportation if they don't have access to a car. And just think, in the last 100 years, the average lifespan has doubled. The average per capita income has tripled, and child mortality rates have went down by a factor of 10 times. This picture is actually pretty funny too. So electronics have come a long way, and recently the growth has been exponential because of the way we've been able to shrink memory. So if you look there, I think it's 1981, that huge thing, and I think it's in megs, and on the other side it's in gigs, and it's just a small chip. And now they're even smaller than that, like micro SDs will hold 64 gigs. It's awesome and crazy. Now medicine and life-saving drugs are available to the majority of first world countries, some second and third world countries. And one thing that I thought was really cool, if you look at the Bill Gates, I don't know if it's just the Bill Gates Foundation or the Gates Foundation, he and his wife decided to tackle the problem with malaria in Africa and actually saved 122 million people. He did that with vaccines. I don't know how you feel about vaccines, but he did it with vaccines, he did it with mosquito nets, and then also created small centrifuges that you could spin just out of little pieces of twine, plastic parts that had a microscope in them, so that you could look at your blood and see if you tested positive for malaria. So they're pushing education out there and helping solve that problem, saving a lot of people's lives on a huge scale. This chart just shows you that I grew up in the 90s, but apparently crime was at its very worst around the 90s and then went down since then. Also, this other chart will show you abortions. So abortions were higher around 1980, 1990, and have went down since then as well. I believe that's due to a bigger push in multiple different ways to take birth control, contraception, education, that sort of thing. Finally, this is a very interesting fact too. So right now, a kid with access to a cell phone, let's just say in Kenya, that has a decent internet connection, has access to more information than Bill Clinton did when he was president of the United States. Now I know there are some devil's advocates out there who will say, but Tony, We really are doomed. There's artificial intelligence that we need to worry about. Social media has made people so selfish and materialistic and worried about money, and people are less nationalistic and religious as they previously were. You know, we don't really stand for anything anymore, and we don't have as much purpose, and we're not aligned with our country or with our religion anymore. I would just ask you a few questions then. If that's what you believe, then how is your belief that our future is doomed affecting you? What is it costing you? I've got a quote for this too. So Elon Musk said, "I would rather be an optimist and be wrong than a pessimist and be right." What would looking forward to a better future do for you? What would having an abundance mindset help you accomplish? How would your life be different if you didn't focus on problems and tragedy? I believe that operating from an attitude of abundance would lead you to try new things, take more risks, feel happier and freer, and live a richer, better life. So I just want to issue a quick call to action for those of you who are still watching the video. Read the book Abundance. The Future is Better Than You Think. It'll help change your perspective. Also, consider reading The Power of Bad if you have a fairly negative mindset. It kind of reframes negativity and shows you how it can actually help you by getting behind you and kind of pushing you forward. You can put the negativity behind of you, understand it better, understand the reasons why humans have an ingrained negativity bias, and use it to help you. Also, try to prune all of the negativity from your social media feeds, from the news that you're receiving, and try to be more aware of when you start to think negative, self-defeating, or anxious thoughts. Finally, you can follow people who inspire you. So you can add myself, Dakota, Jimmy, Connor Brummett. I'll put there either in a comment below this Facebook video. I'll put links to their Facebooks. You guys can add them as friends and look back through their videos. I know that it's sort of unanimous in the group. We really like the Ed Milet podcast. So anything you can get podcasts on, like a phone, you can listen to it in the car or just listen to it in general. But Ed Milet, type in the Ed Milet Show, I think it is. He has a lot of positive messaging out there, so he's a great influence. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I just helped one person, that would make me super happy. Please either leave it in the comments or send me a message and let me know if I have helped you at all or given you a different perspective. I'd love to hear from you guys. And stay tuned for more of the Starfish Group videos.